Hi, everyone. This is Janet Caliri, Visible Transitions, and I'm here today with a long-standing client, Miss Kari Jolly Estel, and she's here today for us to have a brief, curious conversation about why she's been working with me for, I think it's 4 years now. So, Miss Kari, yeah, thank you so much for being here. Let's talk about your why. What was your pain point back in, I think it was 2018?
Oh, goodness. So thank you, by the way, for that introduction, and thank you for having me on here. This is kind of fun. So I was at a place in my life. I was caring for my very young son. I think he was about 2 when we met, and I already had 2 teenage daughters, and I was at this place in my life where I started recognizing some patterns in my daughters' thinking and their behavior that I had wished I had had some way to neutralize before they got to that age. They were things I had worked on in my own life, and I thought that I had, shifted some patterns and things so that my girls wouldn't have some of those hardships and challenges to deal with in their lives. And it became abundantly clear after I had my son, just because of the age that they were at, my girls, that I hadn't done as good of a job at that as I had wanted. And so here I have this 2-year-old son, and I just decided one day, whatever I could do to find out how to neutralize those patterns in my life so that I don't pass them on to my new child that was just born, I was going to do it.
Stopping the generational trauma.
Yes. Exactly.
Wonderful. Great. Well, you're not alone in that. I work with lots of moms, and we once we can recognize some patterns, that's the key right there, is having that awareness to recognize patterns. So I'm so glad you showed up at my photo walkabout my workshop that day, and had some realizations such that you were like, okay, it's time for me to redirect my path. And you chose me after I invited you. Very, very happy. It's been such a joy to watch your visible transition and watch you blossom like a flower, and your awareness just keeps developing, and you're stopping all the generational trauma and the unworkable mindsets and the limiting beliefs. You're just stopping them in their track, and you're having amazing results. So let's talk about that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, one thing I would like to say is that I met you not very long after I actually really just kind of put it out into the universe that I was looking for someone. I guess it was a prayer of sorts. And I just said, please help me find someone that knows how to help me climb out of this pit that I'm in, because I can't get out of it. And so there were a couple people I met before I met you that led me to our, I think, divine appointment. That's what I'm calling it.
Agreed.
So yeah, so I'm just, I think even just the experience of being on your photo walkabout was basically, it was kind of life altering for me. I hadn't really ever had an opportunity to even see myself the way that I saw myself that day. And I just felt really open and receptive. I think maybe I had made a decision before I went there that I was just going to be open to whatever popped up for me. And so when we started working together, I just felt like I was responding to the answer that had come to that request.
Yeah.
So I was I had something very particular that I was working on at that point in my life, and it was a business. I had decided that owning my own business was the path that I wanted to take to gaining some financial freedom, to gaining time flexibility, to be around my children more and be more available for them when they needed me. And there was a particular business type that I was working on at the time. And I think I had a little bit kind of narrow vision at that point. I thought that was my only option. I was like, oh, this is exactly what this is the only way that I'm going to get what I'm working toward. And, really one of the biggest benefits that I've had working with you is that my mind opened up to other possibilities. And, even though I'm still on the path of building my own business, it's a completely different type of business. It's a completely different industry. And, one of my favorite things, that has come out of our working relationship is I've learned so many truths about myself.
Yeah.
And, valuable, positive truths about myself, strengths that I didn't know that I had, and ways to use them that are beneficial for everyone, my family, not just myself. And so that was something that really opened up for me was, Kari, you can really do this and you can make it your own. And so that's what I'm doing.
Woohoo! You can do it and you can make it your own. You are. Yeah. You just bought a bookkeeping business, and not a small feat. And you're working through all your resistance with, I think, flying colors, as they say. Yeah. You're holding a lot, and with that comes stress and resistance, but you're doing the visible transitions practices, you're applying them, and then you get reset pretty quickly. So you're more present and more productive, less stress, more calm.
Yes. I find myself recognizing quicker, more readily, the resistance when it comes, even though it can be at different areas. And the quicker I recognize it, the faster I can meet it kind of head on. And, and I love that when I see it for what it is, I automatically know I have options for how I want to deal with it.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Stuck has been a feeling I've had, a lot in my life. And I love the freedom that comes from knowing that I own all of my own results. And that tells me, you've got several different ways you can deal with it. What's the, I guess, what are the results that you really want to see?
Yeah.
And that's the direction that I want to take.
And you are taking that. Tell us a little bit about the benefits that have rippled in your family.
Okay. Well, my son, he's always kind of spotlight right now. He's so young and vibrant. He's going to be 6 in January. And he's probably my most visible result, I think, besides myself in this process. And he is not afraid to speak his truth. He just isn't. I consider him maybe the most honest person that I know. And one of the biggest reasons is because we don't filter him. We don't say, well, you're not allowed to say that because society only expects blah, 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 or anything like that. He can be angry. He can say something, just really, well, he can just say anything he wants, really.
Yes.
And, if it's something that I think is untrue for him, we can talk about that. But he really is just the most honest person that I know. And he just speaks his truth. He's not afraid to say when he's uncomfortable around people or uncomfortable with something that we do, even if it's something I do. And I see him and I'm so grateful he's not growing up with the conditioning
Yeah,
I've had my whole life.
it has been pure joy watching this little kid develop emotional intelligence at such a young age. And you and he and your husband are real, you are like the epitome of my mission. The next generations to come are going to be people with more emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence. And that means being with what is and being in acceptance and creating a respectful environment where such like your son can speak his truth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, my oldest daughter, she's been living with us for a little over a year, and she's had some traumatic events in her life. And some of those are what led to her even moving back in with us. And she is now, it's been so great to watch. Her and my relationship was already okay. And it's improved so much more because my approach with her has changed. And, I really do my best to speak with her the same way that I work on speaking with my son, in a way that, helps them both see their own options and how they can create their own results depending on whatever decisions they make in their circumstances. And just recently, she's decided she's moving out. She's going to be living with her boyfriend. These are all her own decisions. It's all on her terms. I mean, of course, they're joint terms, but
Yeah,
she's not being compelled in any way. She's not running out of desperation. She's making all of these own choices in her own power. And
beautiful.
it's amazing to see the changes, the positive changes that have happened for her benefit.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree either way. And you are the epitome of a visible transition. And I'm so deeply grateful to get to work with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kari.
Well, I've been really grateful to have you in my life. I just have this knowledge that I would not have the degree of self-awareness that I have at this point in my life. And I don't think I would have known how to make some of the empowered decisions that I've made over the last 4 years if I hadn't been working with you.
Thank you.